Grab your headphones, listen up, you know you love it. Drop the facade. Like the Dark Knight Detective, they've got some perspective. They're a pure crime-fighting collective. It's the Bat Pod.
Welcome to this edition of DC Currents. My name is Bill Beer, and joining me as always, John Coos.
I'm going by Sue Dibney's corpse today.
Oh, that's a touchy subject there. You know,
the world's been rebooted twice at least since then. Who cares?
Yeah. That's what.
Still one of my favorite books, though. Actually, Identity Crisis. I love it.
I have to agree. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I agree. I love that series.
We are counterculture. You and me.
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
So we're gonna do some teen books here. It's our monthly teen books episode. It's great.
Absolutely. We got a little JSA number 4, Titans number 19, and Justice League Unlimited number 3.
The Bat Pod is a spoiler podcast. Please read the comics we're reviewing so you can enjoy the show.
So our first book tonight is going to be JSA number 4. Your writers, Jeff Lemire. Artists, Joey Vasquez. Colors, Luis Guerrero. Letter, Steve Wands. Cover, Cully Hammer. Editor, Marquise Draper. Senior editor, Andre Marino. And group editor, Katie Kubert. Have you ever heard of so many editors on one book? That's 3 right there. So we get.
I don't know if I ever mentioned before you get into it. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. You just mentioned Katie Kubert. I don't know if you knew this, but I went to the Kubert school.
Oh, you did. What was the video game? Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah, it was that. Yes, it was the Kubert school. 82 to 83, I learned how to play Kubert better than anybody. So, but anyway, it's a different Kubert school. But anyway, all right. Yeah, let's jump into the book.
Yeah, I love me some Kubert. So we get a cover here, and we get the new Dr. Midnight in shadow being attacked here on the cover. What do you think of this cover?
Yeah, I like it. It's clear. I think it's clearly Grundy.
Yes.
There's no surprise there, but without even reading the book, in my opinion, yeah, it's cool. It's fine. It gives you some idea that she'll be probably featured.
The focus.
Yeah. It says Dr. Midnight right on it. So I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's not bad.
Captured by the Injustice Society. So in this
Tells
issue,
us what happens basically.
Maybe. In this issue, Dr. Midnight wakes up in the underground base of the Injustice Society, guarded by Solomon Grundy. She used a few escape tricks she learned from Mr. Miracle to undo her ropes and hit Grundy with a secretly stashed blackout bomb, giving her a chance to escape through the underground tunnels. Dr. Midnight stumbles upon the meeting room of the Injustice Society. She overhears the members talking about the artifacts, including the Helm of Fate and the Spear of Destiny. Hawkman is crucial because he's the only one who knows where to find the Spear of Destiny. Hawkman escaped Wotan and the Demons 3 in last issue. Meanwhile, Obsidian wakes up in a sunny hospital room. The attendant tells him he's been The attendant tells him he's been in a terrible car accident and needs rest. Obsidian tries to leave, but every time he comes close, the attendant injects him with a knockout drug. One morning, Obsidian manages to gather enough power from the shadow in the room to escape. He runs down the hospital corridors and finds Jakeem Thunder in a locked room. When Obsidian frees Jakeem, the latter summons Thunderbolt, but nothing happens. Dr. Midnight, finding an unconscious Obsidian hooked up to a machine in the Justice Society's lair, but she is attacked by Scandal Savage as her issue ends. So, we have JSA number 4 here. of a new run. How are you feeling? Are you feeling pretty good? I know you messaged me. You know, you said mid. I had to look up what that was. You thought it was mid.
It's funny. I was a little harsh. When I reread it, I kind of looked at it as a step up from how I was feeling with the last two issues, where I thought it was kind of this is now mid stack. But I thought this issue actually turned a corner a little bit. Things started happening more. I think the last two issues, I think we talked about it. Maybe even the first three issues, the last three, kind of were moving at a snail's pace a little. It's kind of going backwards and forwards. So I liked it better than, and I'm more optimistic about the book than I was like the last time we talked about it. To be honest with you, I don't know about you. It was
Yeah,
all
I
right.
thought it was all right.
Good.
I mean, we get a little bit of what the Injustice Society is trying to do here in their underground layer. I mean, we finally see Obsidian, see that
Yeah.
he's been kidnapped. I always like it to see all the supervillains in their lair and this Injustice Society. I like it that they're meeting at a table and that sort of thing. If you watch the Stargirl TV show, which I loved at times, especially for the Injustice Society. I mean, these aren't, some of the members are different, but you get the gist. And I didn't realize this Dr. Midnight character was such a, I thought she was more of a feeble character just because I didn't realize that she had been around. I thought maybe this was a newer character. But
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's funny because, I've read Infinity Inc. going in the 80s, the 80s Infinity Inc. I have them all. They're going to survive my culling of comic books that's going on in the garage right now. I'm keeping all of those. And yeah, I had forgotten about this character. I think she came along halfway through the series. In fact, I looked it up. She came along in Infinity Inc. number 19, which was in October of 85. And so forgetting that and then seeing this TV show, I thought that Jeff Johns kind of created a new version, but he kind of did, but he kind of didn't, because the Dr. Midnight that was depicted in Infinity Inc. was already a doctor, like and a woman, a woman, while the Dr. Midnight in the Jeff Johns TV show, the Stargirl TV show, was a teenager, but a nerdy science girl. So there is a bit of a tweak, but it is Beth Chapel. It's the same alter ego, and so I just thought it might be good to just kind of bring people up to speed. So in the Infinity Inc. origin, she was blinded in an accident at a hospital, and then the original Dr. Midnight, Charles McNider, operated on her, and he was able to restore her vision, but only night vision, basically. So she needed to see in. It has to be dark for her to see unless she has, I guess, her goggles on. And so knowing that and then reading this, I think this version is that version, perhaps. I'm not sure. They haven't stated that she's a doctor, but I thought she was maybe, or maybe she's not a doctor. Maybe this is a version of Beth Chapel who is not a doctor, but it looks from this issue that she's blind, unless in the dark, because she mentions it. And that's unlike the Stargirl versions, TV show version. So I guess I just wanted to talk about it, since I kind of went down this rabbit hole on Beth Chapel. And with regarding to the issue itself, I mean, she says that she's blind, and then she can see for a split second when she throws that blackout bomb. So that's when I kind of put it together that she's blind, and she kind of looks blind, because in the first panel she's kind of got this glassy-eyed look. She kind of looks blind when she's like being guarded by Grundy. And anyway, but what I don't understand from the blindness perspective is that she's running through these caverns and then she kind of stumbles upon these guards and then they start shooting at her and then she jumps in the air and dodges the bullets. Now maybe it's because she's got enhanced hearing because she's blind, but then she comes upon this room where she recognizes that the tech is similar to Ted Knight's Starman's tech. What does she recognize that by touch? So I don't know. What did you think about that? Did you pick up on the fact that this Beth Chapel is blind and this is a first reveal of it, or did we miss it in the first three issues?
Yeah, I just don't know. I just assumed it was adapted from the TV series. I didn't know either way. Of course, we learn that she has some fighting skills from Wildcat because she's going to town on these guards, snapping arms. As you said, avoiding bullets by jumping. I don't know if she has some kind of other powers than that. The way the action is shown there, where she gives that elbow to the guy's face, is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're witnessing in real time that Jeff Lemire is kind of reintroducing us to the original Infinity Inc. Beth Chapel versus and straying from the TV one, because she looks exactly like the TV one, and she kind of acted like her in the first couple issues of this comic, and now she's acting more of a badass, like the original. So maybe to be continued, I guess, and see the evolution of this.
And
character.
we get a couple titles again, like we got
I know.
before. They're different. One says The Doctor, that focuses on Beth Chapel.
Yeah.
And then we get Obsidian, the Prince of Shadows. It's like every section focuses on something different, except Something Savage, which, she encounters a Scandal Savage here.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't explain, and it looks like Obsidian has been in this hospital bed drugged up for a while because he's got a beard that he develops over time.
Well, yeah, that's just him in a dream state because he's hooked up here at the end, all these wires going onto her head, and she unhooks them, and I think he's just, because when he goes to Jakeem Thunder, the one thing I thought was odd, I didn't get when I was reading, he said, my Thunderbolt isn't working, but he's saying so cool. I guess he's saying so cool before his Thunderbolt comes out. I thought that panel was a little weird. And then he says so cool again.
You know why? You're forgetting your JSA lore. In the Jeff Johns series from the mid-2000s, when they introduced Jakeem Thunder as the master of the genie. The original Johnny Thunder used to say you, and then he didn't like say you, so he changed it to so cool.
Okay.
That's why he says
I guess
so
it's
cool.
been a while since I've read that. It's been a long time.
It's a deep cut for me to pull that, but that's what happened.
That's okay.
But they don't. If you're reading this book for the first time, I can't remember if in the previous issues they mentioned this so cool thing. So you would have to know that.
In the previous issues, he was knocked out. He was like unconscious.
Yeah, he was playing video games, I guess, with somebody, and then he got knocked out. So I think this is the first reference to him saying so cool, which is like, for you, you're a DC, devotee. You forgot it. So how would the average?
I forgot.
How would the average person know what the heck that he's doing there?
I don't think they would, especially if they're introduced for the first time. No, I started rereading that. I haven't got to where Jakeem Thunder has shown up again, because the new thing with DC is these compendiums which is like the first 25 issues they've been releasing of different things. They got a Nightwing, Robin, I saw JSA, and they have a JLA, but it's not quite 25 issues. But that's the new thing for whatever reason lately. They've been releasing those.
Really? Like they're sort of like mini omnibuses?
Basically, but they're easier to read because they're not
like
hardbacked.
Yeah. They're not
Yeah, like I've
super
been
huge.
reading the Nightwing one, and I saw the compendium number 2 for Nightwing is coming out. It's the old, 90s series. So, and it had the first mini in it, which I don't remember reading, but it was very good.
Yeah, I have it. I think
Yeah.
it's. I don't think it survived the culling though. I think it's going, but I have it too. So, by the way, on the culling of my comic collection, if anybody lives near California, they got some action figures or cash to give me, I probably will have, I don't know, 15 long boxes I'm dumping. It's tragic, but the
It
wife
needs to be
won.
cold hard cash.
I'll take
Did they
the
say that in
cash.
California? Is that a term they use?
Yeah, it's just standard English, cold hard cash. Yeah, we don't have a different language out here yet. But so yeah, yeah. So this I don't want to. I like the funny thing is like the art is fun in this book, and I like the feel of it more than I did before. I guess I think in the last episode on DC Currents I was really like down on this, but there's been some redemption with this one for some reason.
The art feels better for some reason in this issue. I don't know what it is.
Well, it didn't really work when Hawkman was in hell. It just seemed too cartoony to have demons. It just was weird, but I think it worked better in this one. Yeah. So whatever.
So this seems like a long arc. I wonder if this would read better. Not that it's bad, but I wonder if it would flow better if you went ahead and read 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together.
I think so, and they're also quick reads. So yeah.
Yeah.
If you read like so, the first graphic novel or whatever that's going to come out of this will probably be the first 6 or 10. It'd probably be a better read if you read it all at once. Yeah. I think that's an interesting point.
Because it does
All right.
feel a little choppy at times, jumping all over the place. There's a little time jump and that sort of thing. This one feels like they're catching everybody up on actually what is going on. So,
well, maybe it's worth after this, before the next time before we do JSA 5 in a month, I'm going to go back and look back at some of those banners at the top in Infinity Inc. and the images. Maybe Lemire is trying to say Infinity Inc. as we knew it back in 83 to 86 or whenever it was, is all like relevant and in this continuity or something. I don't know. It does make your brain hurt to try to, if you're in a continuity junkie, to try to figure out what actually is real, not real, what I'm saying, what is historical in this current continuity, what happened in the past. So anyway, all right, let's we could probably beat this to death, but yeah, it was an improvement. I liked it. It was fun.
okay. So we're going to head on to our next book.
Which is also drawn in a very fun way. Titans 19, subtitled Cold Snap, writer John Layman, artist Serge Acuna, colorist Matt Hearns, letterer Wes Abbott. I always just pick like the most logical editor. You list them all. I'm putting Brittany Holzer as the editor of this one. I think she's titled as senior editor. So our story opens with, do we have the cover? Let's talk about the cover real quick. I don't know, you got any thoughts? I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad cover. You got all the Titans froze by Killer Frost there, except for Gar is a penguin.
Yeah, it's a fun cover. So
Yeah.
anyway, so our story opens with Killer Frost complaining to herself that even though she is now considered a hero and a member of the Justice League Unlimited, she doesn't get the respect she deserves and presumes it's because she's a former villain. We span days of complaints and paranoia over this. We get cute scenes of superheroes having taco parties in the Watchtower and her feeling left out. They even ran out of butter brickle ice cream right when she wanted one, and she's thinking of how grieved she is in her Watchtower bedroom. She snaps, or rather, she cold snaps and releases a torrent of frost and ice in her room. We switch scenes to the Titans, whom this book is about, because the first 6 pages were in the Watchtower. And anyway, and Roy Harper is telling Nightwing and Donna that Raven is emotionally unstable. And, they make a snowman together while they're talking about this. Roy concludes that she'll be a liability in the field, but it's falling on deaf ears to leader Donna Troy. And Raven, prone to sneaking up on people, overhears Roy's position and then marches off sad. Mr. Terrific then radios Donna and says that they have trouble in Metropolis, trouble that started up on the Watchtower. Killer Frost is frosting Metropolis. It's a deep freeze. The Titans confront Frost, who then monologues about how she isn't accepted by the heroes. As the Titans try to subdue her, she takes them all out except for Raven, who infiltrates her mind and knocks her out. Nightwing states that Killer Frost didn't seem to be in her right mind. Batman shows up and claims he will take charge of figuring out why Frost freaked out. Donna protests, but Batman scoops up Frost and flies away in the Bat plane with her. In our final scene, we see that Psycho Pirate was the cause of Frost's insanity and paranoia when, at the beginning of the book, dressed as a citizen, he bumped into her. And then we see Deathstroke tell Psycho Pirate his next target is Raven. So, reactions, Bill.
I overall enjoy this. I'm enjoying the Titans being led by Donna Troy here. I noticed she's very particular about the Justice League, being part of this Justice League Unlimited and them giving out orders. They're like a little like we're our own team. We're part of that, but we're our own team too, and we've been around for years.
Yeah.
So I did like seeing that.
Yeah. Cyborg, who I didn't really cover, he seems to be griping the most about being bossed around by the Justice. Like, I think Donna's trying to balance their autonomy as a team, but also be part of the larger JLU. But she tries to stand up to Batman about taking Frost, and then she loses that argument, and he just does it anyway. I'm going to guess there's going to be more developing on this balance of the autonomy of teams with respect to the larger JLU membership. But I agree. The pace of this book is fun. The drawing is fun. The interpersonal dialogue is pretty fun. I mean, I think they almost have run out of, well, how would I put it? It's getting a little old. Dick now in his third issue in a row, kind of telling Donna she's doing great, and and as a leader, because I don't know, I don't know, I don't want to see that again because it started getting a little like, okay, we got it, Dick,
Repetitive.
a little repetitive, but yeah, it was fun. Roy's right. I mean, really, yes, he was proved wrong that Raven kind of was the one who took down Frost, but I think I think that'll play out where she, isn't it funny? I mean, I know both of us are not like super duper deep Teen Titans historical authorities or anything like that, but Raven seems to be like, but we're going 45 years now, just kind of like a problem at times, right? I mean, doesn't it seem like, does that get old that Raven's always like getting a,
Has issues.
influenced with her, her father, the devil, or whatever. But, but I don't know. I like the book. I think it's, who's your favorite Titan aside from? I mean, I'm going to guess you're going to say Nightwing, but aside from, even if it is Nightwing or not Nightwing, who do you like?
I like
in the
Roy.
Titans? Yeah,
I like him a lot. Here, he seems to be questioning everything that she does. Here, he's saying about Raven, but previously, he seems to be just complaining a lot. But I like him overall as a character.
yeah,
I
I like him too.
Cyborg, though, what is he working on there? He's talking to this computer that has a smiley face within. What is he doing there?
I don't know. I think I was going to ask you: is he working on an android of some kind, or?
It almost looked like it. I zoomed in. It's nothing that I recognize, so I have no idea. They don't even know what he's working on.
He's acting very strange because Vic is not normally a complainer, and and so I don't know if that's just a. I can't believe that the writer and the editors would allow a total characterization change for Cyborg, for Vic, Victor Stone, but it seems like there's something going on with him that we're gonna get, be revealed later. He seems angry.
Yeah, something is going on.
For him, it's fun. It's a fun book.
Of course,
It's
we
cool.
get the new. I would say new Killer Frost because she's the latest Killer Frost, and I didn't realize it was Caitlin Snow, like from the Flash CW series, and that she was a good guy. This was news. Was it news to you when you learned that she was invited to be part of the Justice League? I thought, hey, she stole that little thing, that little communicator, the little.
The ID
boom
card?
tube.
Oh,
Right. The membership card. And then she's just a little paranoid. Well, you find out why, but
I thought I looked it up. Did she come out as a good guy in some kind of
well, she was in
event?
Justice League of America that
New 52?
I would say New 52, but it wasn't released right when the New 52 started. It was a book that came later. And I read it early on. It wasn't anything that I would go back and revisit, but I don't remember too much about it, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know when. I mean, I think the Caitlin Snow version of Killer Frost was a villain who was reformed because obviously because that's her hang up. I just don't know when that happened. I don't know when was the conversion to being a good guy.
And she was always a Firestorm villain.
She was.
But I kind of enjoyed. She goes in here and she thinks everybody's talking about her, even if they're, as you said, the ice cream ran out. Anybody mentions hot or cold, and she thinks they're talking about her.
Well, clearly, Psycho Pirate did a number on her when he bumped into her in the streets. I mean, that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of figured there was something when I read it the first time. I was like, why is there a guy in walking that has a bowler hat? Like, he's got to be a bad guy or something. And lo and behold, it's true. Just as a quick thing, I'll never be able to say this again, probably. For those of you listeners who ever play DC Universe Online, I get really triggered in a particular raid, it's a Flash based raid that has all the rogues in it as NPC villains that you attack and take down. And for whatever reason, they threw in Killer Frost. So like, I'm always typing to the like 8-member raid. I'm like, Killer Frost is not a Flash villain. She shouldn't be here in this. Anyway, sorry. I get every single time, and then people go geek, whatever, fine. But she's out of place. It doesn't make any sense. But the funny part about the DC Universe Online is it's been around since 2011. For whatever reason, Firestorm's not in the thing at all. So maybe they. Whatever.
Really? That's
weird.
weird.
I don't know why. And neither is Stargirl. And so maybe they got to give. Maybe there's a thing with like characters that were created by Jerry Conway created Firestorm. Maybe they have to give him residuals or something. Or Jeff Johns created Stargirl. I'm almost wondering if there's
that's possible.
A reason like that. But anyway, I digress. So
usually the big characters, the DC, they're not like character owned. So I don't even know if they're partly character owned.
You mean creator owned?
Creator owned, yeah, creator owned.
I think some of them are, because I think whenever you see, usually when you see Stargirl in a book and then you look at the credits, it'll say Stargirl created by Jeff Johns, usually. Right. So why would they do that unless they were throwing him some bones or something? Because I don't know. Anyway, that's a conversation for another podcast. So, but yeah. All right, well, let's move on to JLU. JLU.
So we got Justice League Unlimited, number 3. Writer, Mark Waid. Penciler, Dan Mora. Colorist, Tamara Von Villen. Letter, Adriana Meyer. And editor, Paul Comiskey. And we get a cover here. You get a little bit of everybody on the cover here. The main big 3, and then you have the Atoms, and they're introducing the Atom Project, which is in here, but it's not a major part of it. Little Swamp Thing. So what did you think of this cover? It's pretty busy.
It is busy. It's fine. I mean,
yeah.
nothing's to scale, and proportions are weird. That's fine. But it does have a lot of the stuff that goes on in the book. Before we get into it, I think the interesting thing about this Atom Project, it's almost like a mini crossover that's not like a big event. It's kind of funny. It's something that's running through the DCU right now, where the Atoms are fixing the mayhem of the exchanged powers that happened in Absolute Power, and it's kind of funny. So you got this main book. This is probably one of the best-selling books of DC, but then you've also got this Atom Project thing running alongside of it, which I find interesting. But I'm sure you'll cover some of that in the summary. But I don't think I've ever seen that, where you sort of have this subtle crossover thing that is going on with the fixing of the powers.
Yeah, is different. So
yeah. Anyway,
in this issue, at the Watchtower, the Question finds Airwave hiding between the walls and watching a movie. Even though he has his own private quarters, Airwave believes Question has discovered his secret, that he is the mole for Inferno, which we found out in issue number 1. But Question simply believes that Airwave just needs to stick closer to his teammates. He might have been from a lost timeline, but he doesn't deserve to be alone. Meanwhile, Red Tornado has detected a fire spreading across the entire Amazon rainforest. He deploys Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Star Sapphire, Stargirl, and Stripe to address the emergency. He also asks Airwave to remain at the Watchtower to facilitate communication wherever Wi-Fi is sparse. Superman finds mysterious pillars spread across the rainforest as the cause of the fire, and tries to remove them, only for his hands to get burned with magic. The pillars are marked with the symbol of Inferno. Wonder Woman tells Superman to help Flash with the evacuation while she and sorcerers like Zatanna, Zan, Cho, and Dr. Occult try to put out the fire. Red Tornado also sends in gold and iron and platinum of the Metal Men as reinforcements. Mr. Terrific, already having sent Batman out to investigate Inferno, wonders why would the Inferno, a group interested in world domination, cause random destruction. Zatanna says that perhaps they can ask Inferno and combine her powers with the other two, Dr. Occult and Xanthe, to forcibly summon an emissary of Inferno through the connection to the spell they had used to start the fire in the first place. At Gateway City, the Atoms and Plastic Man who is stuck with intangibility have found the person who had accidentally received Plastic Man's powers, Phantom Girl. After breaking into her home, they find Phantom Girl is literally falling to pieces without Plastic Man's concentration. To save her, the Atoms connect her and Plastic Man to the machine that switches their powers. With their intangibility restored, Phantom Girl returns home and the Atoms invite Plastic Man to their project. Back at the Amazon rainforest, the messenger of Inferno says that while they seek world domination, they are not interested in genocide. In fact, the heroes of Earth will live long enough to see Inferno's vengeance fulfilled. He forcibly closes the portal, but not before Dr. Occult jumps through it. Wanting to know more about their plans, the raging fire continues, and Mr. Terrific believes that they can use the green to save the rainforest. This fire was just Inferno's attempt to bend the green to their will. Airwave informs Aquaman of the fire and takes him to Louisiana, where they hope to find Levi Kami, the new Swamp Thing, the latest avatar of the Green. Levi is already aware of Inferno and makes efforts to stop them, but suddenly he is consumed by a mysterious fire. So we got issue number 3 here. A lot going on. A lot. There's a lot of characters in this book. I know it may seem like if somebody would ask you, hey, did you read that new Justice League Unlimited? What happened in that book?
Exactly.
What's the focus?
I feel like that every time so far. Like, I reread it this morning because I forgot really what happened in the book, and it kind of happened. That kind of has been the case the last two. The funny thing is, what sticks with me is less the action world crisis, Amazon fire, burn down, all that stuff. Is the other storyline, which is about the people, Airwave or whatever, and this, some of this Atom Project stuff is the stuff that sticks with me better than like when they Mr. Terrific sends in like a super buff team of like, Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Flash, all that stuff just kind of just fades in my, it doesn't, it's fine and it's fun, great art, but like it doesn't stick with me either. I
like seeing the different characters in those groups.
I do too, and it's interesting the characters that Wade's playing with here. I mean, one of the things I thought was interesting was in that Atom Project subplot where Plastic Man has Phantom Girl's powers, and then they go find her to like do the switcheroo and restore his plastic powers, and she's all I thought that was cool. She was all melted and hiding because she was so grotesque and she couldn't control the Plastic Man's powers. I liked all that, but the funny thing is, like, well, why is Mark Waid pulling her out of a hat? Because she is an interesting character. I looked her up. I mean, I knew a little bit about her. I'm not a big Legion of Superheroes archivist of any kind. I'm just not. But I learned from the interwebs here that she was the fifth member of the original Legion. So she's been around since '61. She's from a different dimension, phasing through walls and stuff. But more recently, she appeared. Did you read that Jeff John 12-issue maxi series, Justice Society of America? Did you read that?
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago or whatever it was, a year and a half. It took forever for him to finish it. But she was one of the characters that came from the future, the Legionnaires who were protesting that they were going to elicit Legionnaire, the like younger version of Modru, to help them defeat Perdegaton. And so like she came from the future, just in our world, continuity wise, whatever, a year and a half ago or whatever, with comic releases, and now she's here. So did she stay here? I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but I just found it interesting. Like, why did Mark Waid pick her?
Well, she was part of that book, The Terrifics. Did you read The Terrifics?
No, I didn't read The Terrifics, but
she was part of that team.
Was that before the Jeff Johns series or after?
Oh yeah, it was before.
Well, maybe she definitely came from the future in the Jeff Johns series, so I don't know if is the Terrifics in the present?
I thought so. It was Mr. Terrific. They had Plastic Man, and
maybe it was a continuity issue that Jeff Johns kind of screwed up on. Then I don't know, but if that makes sense. If she was on a team with Plastic Man, I guess he would have some kind of friendship with her or something. But
yeah, because he even mentions, Phantom Girl and I were on the Terrifics together.
Anyway, it's interesting. I mean, he's pulling some. We talked about it before. He pulled Dr. Occult out of the archives. He's got Airwave going here, who Jeff Johns technically probably brought back sort of a little bit, maybe in the Stargirl series. In the Lost Children thing. But I think it's fun to see the characters for sure. And I think Waid does a really good job of like in just a few panels kind of giving you a taste of DC lore and then just kind of like, and just moving on, and it's like little teasers, little nods to all that history. I think it's pretty cool though.
So the Terrifics were part of. They were from 2018. They were part of the new age of heroes. They had several books that had that title on top. The new age of heroes, and the Terrifics were the team of Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl, and Plastic Man. And other characters, Tom Strong was in there. But it said they were in the Dark Universe. Maybe they went to the Dark Universe, but it had something to do with the Dark Universe. So,
the Dark Multiverse. I should read that because Ivan Rice, I'm looking it up right now, he drew it. And it had 30 issues. That was during my sort of, I don't know what you call it, hiatus from reading.
The hiatus.
Books. Yeah,
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is at all. What hiatus?
What I mean, so I stopped buying books. I think it was in like 2017 because I got kind of slammed with life, and so there's probably about 4 years where I was really not reading current books, and this falls right in that time frame. So. Written by Jeff Lemire, drawn by Ivan Rice. It sounds like a good book. Maybe I should read it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, right on. Well, maybe I was talking out of my butthole, but Jeff Johns definitely did use her as in the Legion just a year and a half ago. So that's what like threw me. So maybe Waid just glossed over that. That whole series. I'm almost wondering, is it really canon? I mean, maybe it is, but it seems like there's some flaws with it. In some,
Yeah, it seemed to be all over the place. I think the problem is that at the end, it just didn't come out for like months at a time.
yeah, and then
I
the
think their
final,
initial story arc was pretty interesting.
yeah,
And then it kind of fizzled a little bit.
yeah. So the Airwave being homeless is I think a nice human touch, and it kind of makes sense. And Question figured it out like real quick. Like she's like, wait a second here, you came back as part of this lost children sort of event where all these sidekicks from the 40s or whatever were stuck in that limbo time frame, and then now they're here, like the Boom, Jay Garrick's daughter, and others. And this guy, this guy doesn't have anywhere to go, so he just sleeps in the watchtower. He doesn't have an actual home, which 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 kind of is probably going to be helpful in understanding why he is kind of unwillingly or unwittingly or struggling with this whole betrayal thing. Like, there's something going on with him personally that we're going to find out about, which I'm intrigued to find out how Wade develops this character,
Yeah, there's a lot of little pieces in here that I'm interested in. The Inferno group, which they seem to try to make the big bad of the group. Just don't know enough. We got some weird things happening, In the first issue, they had these almost look like dump trucks that were on fire. I don't know. And this is some kind of pole that's buried in the ground that's set the rainforest on fire, the Amazon. I just don't know. And then a figure shows up, and he's like, he could be anybody. They're trying to make you think that he's an alien and doesn't show his face at all. It's somebody that we probably recognize, I'm guessing.
I do have a question about, so I guess Mr. Terrific is kind of calling the shots, sort of like Martian Manhunter used to from the Watchtower, about which teams to assemble and things. And I think we talked about it a little bit before, like this sort of like this team that he sends down the first time, which is Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Flash, Starfire, Stargirl, and Stripe. Whatever. What's he gonna do? Fine. but the it's like superpower. Like, these are like heavy hitters, right? And so, but there's no real balance, like in that initial squad. I mean, Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam. I mean, kind of like super strong, super strong, etc., etc., etc. Like, and then they have to send in the magic user team. Like, once Superman figures out, oh crap, there's magic here, I suck, I can't do anything with magic. So then they send in Zatanna, Dr. Occult, and like why not just send a team with people on it that have different kinds of power sets to begin with? I thought maybe I'm going too deep.
I can see that. Were you familiar with the one magic user that I couldn't pronounce?
Which was that?
Her name is... What is her name? She had the big sword there. It's Xanthe Cho.
How do you spell it? Z-X?
Xanthe. Well, anyway, she was from this book, Spirit World, and she's DC's first non-binary character. But I didn't have any idea who it was.
Oh, no.
So
no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. I don't know what her.
She had a cool looking sword. That's about it. I don't know.
What's her power set?
Magic.
Magic. Magic.
She's a Chinese American. Yeah.
Powers and
she's
abilities.
affiliated with the Jade Court, Justice League Unlimited. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
She has rings on both her middle fingers and a thumb that can set joss paper on fire, joss papers, and then she's got these papers that represent like a broadsword, other stuff, cooking set. I don't know. Sounds like a character that I need to know a lot about, and I'm going to spend a lot of time figuring out who she is. No, just kidding.
And she's not gonna. Well, this character is probably not gonna be a focus. Because there's been even the Metal Men, they get a panel here,
I
but
know.
you don't see them do anything.
I know, that was funny. I'm like, what?
It's a cool looking panel where they show up, but you don't see them do anything
know.
other than that.
I know, and I have a lot referencing my tragic collection culling I'm doing. I'm keeping all my Metal Men stuff. I like the Metal Men. I think they're fun. And we get this one panel that I'm like, oh, cool, the Metal Men. Are they going to do something cool? No, they don't do anything at all. They have this panel where they're like flying in, and that's it.
I
which
almost
found
think
strange.
sometimes they have so many characters to play with. They don't know. They want to just insert certain people just to say, "Hey, see, I used them."
Yeah, I know. We'll see.
In
Wade we trust though. But yeah, I mean.
And you wondered where Stargirl was. She's right here. She's been in the Justice League
is.
Limited. She said, "JSA. I don't need the JSA."
Yeah. Like, why hang out with them? Her entire history is based on the JSA. Why she? Yeah, I mean she's done with them.
Well,
But-
according to the Titans book, they can pull anybody at any time for any mission. So if you're in this Justice League Unlimited tower, and talking about the tower, since we're talking about Justice League, I wanted to ask you: did you notice in the Titans book you could see the Justice League satellite
in the sky?
In the
You
sky?
can see it. And it looks. Yeah, it was way too big. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's supposed to be in orbit. I mean, it looks like it's like a mile.
You can truly see that it's in orbit in this panel here at the beginning. You know, in the first page, the first panel, it's in orbit. It's not like down in the sky like it was falling or something.
I did pick up on that. I just like, okay, whatever. I mean, it looked like it was like 400 feet in the air or something.
Yes. You know, like from the Invasion miniseries from the 80s, it was almost that low.
Yeah,
coming in.
Yeah, like a Brainiac ship or something.
Right.
From like Superman of Steel. One thing I wanted to comment on, which is funny, so within a span of a few weeks of each other, Titans comes out and then Justice League comes out. And so in both issues, like, makes it look like a party's going on all the time up there. Like, Oliver Queen is cooking chili in, I think it's JLU, and then there's a taco party that he's involved in Titans. I mean, I guess that would be kind of how it is, right? Like, you know, they can't be, you know, they're going to be in their costumes eating tacos and cooking chili and stuff. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I thought that was funny back to back. Food fun, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, it's a real party up there. I thought there'd be like a cafeteria or whatever.
They should have. I would hope that they. Oh, I beg. If anybody, I doubt anybody's listening to this that actually creates anything at DC, but they need to have like a disco, like a dance club, like a nightclub in the Watchtower, and we can see like, you know, Donna and Dick, you know, boogieing down, and maybe Black Canary and her band playing, you know. It's unlimited, right? It's unlimited.
It would be something.
It'd be cool. So anyway, all right, we'd probably beat this to death a bit, but it's fun. It's fun. All right.
No, absolutely. So, our next
Yeah.
episode.
So before you do that, sorry, one more thing. So you said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go down a big rabbit hole here, but you said that it's hard to remember what is actually going on with this like main storyline of Inferno or whatever. Like, where is this going? Like,
I knew where it's going because I read the solicits.
Oh yeah,
you couldn't predict
why do
where
you
it's
do
going.
that?
Why not?
Why do you do that?
Why not?
I don't know. Spoilers? Like it just kind of makes you like not surprised when you're reading a book that you're just like it comes out in May.
Well, sometimes a lot of times it isn't spoilers. It just gives you a generic direction they're going in, but I know who Inferno is already, so I guess it's spoilers.
It's the Joker, huh?
It's not the Joker. Wouldn't that be a spoiler?
All right. What's next? Okay, yeah. So what do we got next?
Next, we're going to go jump back into Gotham Currents. We have the last book of Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman.
Yeah, we do.
Which should be interesting.
Yeah.
Then I did see the Two-Face dropped. Yep. Batgirl dropped. We'll see what we get next week, but we might have somewhere between 4 to 5 books next week.
Well, hey, Mr. Solicits guy, who is writing Batman after Zdarsky?
Well, it's a little book. It's a sequel to a book from the 90s in Hush 2.
Ooh. Yes, that's right. Yes, that should be epic.
It's supposed to be epic. We'll see. Got a little Jim Lee on the art, so it should be fun.
That'd be great. All right, then. Until then.
Yeah. Until next time, we thank you for staying currents with DC Currents. We will see you later.